Hey everybody, today we're going to be talking about some techniques, because what else is going to give me views? Original music? So some people have been asking me, like 5 of them, hey, you use your fingers, how do you do... Howdy, howdy. So for the audience that doesn't exist, I decided to put together a video about my guitar techniques. So first things first. Since English is not my first language and I tend to babble a lot when I speak, you're more than welcome to turn this up to 1.5 speed just to save everyone a little bit of time. And since I'm living in a different country and a global pandemic outbreak is stopping me from retrieving the guitars back home, I'm going to be using this today. A Yamaha nylon string electric acoustic guitar. Also, as you probably can tell, I don't have a microphone with me right now, so I'm using my headphones to capture the audio. You'll have to put up with that right now. Improvise, adapt, overcome. So I've divided my guitar techniques into 3 categories. I'm not going into detail with these because it's probably going to be a long video anyways, but if anyone is interested, which I doubt, I'm going to make individualized instructionals on each of the modules, but right now it's just an overview. Let's get started. What I mean by appropriating here is that I have translated a bunch of techniques that would usually be done on a pick into fingerpicking. Appropriated techniques number 1, pinch harmonics. So 10 years ago, after watching a bunch of YouTube tutorials, I realized that, hey, what is pinch harmonics? The formula to pinch harmonics is just pick attack and fleshy contact. Because, you know, science. Pick attack, fleshy contact, pick attack, fleshy contact. So I came up with this motion. So as long as I have fleshy contact, I can have as many picked notes as I want.
It's free real estate.
But no, who am I kidding? There's no use of that. Or maybe I just have creative bankruptcy. Appropriated technique number 2, palm muting. So being one of the most basic techniques ever, palm muting is probably more difficult than you think with fingers. You know, back in the days, it took me much more time to figure out palm muting than pinch harmonics. But people are just interested in that one topic. So what do I know? Why am I doing this video? So if you use the fleshy bits of your finger and palm mute it, you're going to have a very blunt sound. And opposed to that, you could use your fingernails with your palm muting. So eventually it comes down to a musical and ergonomic choice. So for example, I could play Master of Puppets with that, you know, the fleshy bit and the palm muting, but no one's going to want to listen to that. The only bigger crime is probably alternate picking Master of Puppets. Appropriated techniques number 3, alternate picking. Believe it or not, I also had to reimagine alternate picking because as you can notice, a finger is much thicker than a regular pick. Also, the finger comes into contact with the strings in a much more different angle than, let's say, a regular pick would. And generally speaking, you actually get a much softer attack than using a pick because, you know, the finger is made of softer material, this fleshy thing. But there's not going to be a very big difference after you've gone into amplification, and especially after you've distorted the signal. So, you know, I got that going for me. It works for me. But, you know, one of the problems is that I can't do all that Troy Grady pick rotation stuff.
Go from upward pick slanting to downward pick slanting and back again.
Yeah, no. Privatized techniques. These are the techniques that I think I invented. I think I invented them. First up, plucked arpeggios. So this came from the same escapist mentality as not to use a pick, because sweep picking is so much work to learn. So I came up with my own thing by syncing up the plucking fingers and the fretting fingers. I ended up with this workable technique. Nobody tells me what to do. So eventually I did learn how to sweep pick, so now I can alternate between, whichever technique I prefer on the spot. On the spot? At the spot? I don't know. Privatized technique number 2, double thumbing, not the Tosin Abasi version. So, everyone knows that video from Guitar World. Now you can't seem to find a song that doesn't have that technique in it.
You should get a 7-string.
But what I'm talking about is my own version of double thumbing, which is different, and it was originally a substitute for alternate picking. So this was originally my substitute for alternate picking, but turns out it has a lot of problems. For example, you need a lot of stamina to do it. It's not fast enough. Not enough mobility between strings. There's just a lot of noise going on, so eventually I just switched over to alternate picking.
Sorry, you're cancelled.
But it still has its uses. So in a recent song that I wrote called Creeps, it's on my YouTube channel, guys, please watch my YouTube channel. You could see I wrote this riff. So anyway, I tried incorporating this technique into the riffs I play during that song, and it sounds like this. You did not catch that, so let's try it again slowly.
You should get a 7-string.
Part 3, conventional techniques. So by conventional techniques, I mean these are very, very common techniques that everyone who fingerpicks uses. Not limited to metal, not limited to me, certainly. And just a quick shout out to some of the stuff I use. First one being regular fingerpicking. So I'm not trained in any way, so I don't know the names of all these different techniques. I know there's rest strokes, there's free strokes, and who knows what else. Hey, but the perks of using fingers is that you can actually do fingerstyle on your electric guitar. And hey, walking bass. Okay, conventional techniques number 2, slap and pop. Because you not only could you do it on the bass, but you could also slap. You could also You know, you could also slap and pop on a guitar. Like Guthrie Govan does it. And if you don't use a pick, you don't have to do all that. You don't need that, right? Thumping, double slapping, you know, whichever name you prefer. Because everyone else is doing it. Why aren't you?
You should get a 7-string.
Slap harmonics, harp harmonics. You know, sometimes you just want your cleans to sound a little prettier. Sometimes they could come in handy, but on distortion, nobody's gonna care. With all the gain and distortion going on, you might as well do tap harmonics. Fallujah does it much better than I do. So bottom line, so with fingers, you actually have better vertical mobility and coverage on your guitar because you're using 5 fingers at the same time. Yeah, see what I mean? And since you don't have to do a whole lot of pick juggling, I would say you have more on your stylistic palette, whatever that means. Most important of all, you won't lose a pick. You won't have to bring a pick. You don't need a pick. Okay, the downside, sometimes you just don't get as much attack. Especially on acoustic guitars, but who plays metal on acoustic guitars? I do. And if you're a picking economist, I would say there's not a lot of picking angles to choose from. Hey, yeah, and sometimes you break your nails and then for like a week or so you can't play anything. All right, bye.
You should get a 7-string.